Hello and welcome to Straight Talk with OGN. It is a show about where I talk about dating, love, romance, relationships of all kinds, whether it's with your family, your colleagues, friends, partner, or potential partners. I also talk about marriage, weddings, divorce, and having friends with benefits. So, my name is OGN. I'm an author, I'm a publisher, and a whole lot of things. I'm also a parent. Anyway, so in this episode, which is episode 6, I think is episode 6. No, actually, is episode 5. No, actually, this is episode 5. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Anyway, so today's topic. Now, I was privy to a conversation where there was a question posed, and the question was, can you be black and proud and still date outside your race? Does dating outside your race mean that you're not black enough or that you're not pro-black? Now, this is a very interesting topic. So, now, first of all, I'm going to talk about dating first. Now, most people date for so many reasons. There's so many. You might date because your family think that it's time for you to get married, should be seeing someone and start giving them grandchildren. Or you might date because your work says, we only trust certain people who are married or have children. And so because you're not married, we can promote you. So now you start dating. You might end up wanting to marry the person, just for career purposes. But the part I'm going to focus on is one of the other reasons why people date, and that is attraction. Now, most times you just can't help who you are attracted to. Now, what is attraction? It is when you have an interest or liking or desire, or you're drawn to something or someone. In this case, we're talking about relationships, so someone. Now, this attraction is based on so many different factors. So it could be based on it could be physically based, which means they are looking at someone's appearance. And a lot of the times you hear women describing who they want to date, and this is the basis on which they decide who they want to date. So they will say, oh, I want someone that is tall, dark, and handsome. Now, that's a physical attraction. That's who they really, I find most people say, I want tall, dark, and handsome. They don't necessarily want tall, dark, and handsome. They just say it because that's what they've heard so many people say, and then when you look at the person they're dating, all the people they've ever dated, none of them have ever been tall, dark, or handsome. Also bear in mind that handsome is in the eye of the beholder. What I might find attractive or handsome might not necessarily be what somebody else finds attractive or handsome. So that's physical based. Now, attraction could also be sexually based. This is when we're talking about when someone starts, or you start feeling, experiencing sexual feelings for someone, lust for someone, the desire to be intimate with them, sexually. Now, that's a sexually based attraction. Attraction could also be a romantic nature. It could be romantically based. Now, this type of attraction is when you start feeling love for someone and you have this strong feeling of love for them. You want to protect them. You want to do things for them. You want to keep them safe. You do anything for them. So that sort of attraction is called romantic attraction. Then you have attraction that is image based, sort of. That it's not necessarily physically based. Is it when you're attracted to the representation that person gives you, and this sort of attraction has a lot to do with repressed feelings inside someone. So you're looking at someone, maybe you didn't feel protected when you were very young. So now you see someone and they look strong, they look like they're someone that could protect you, they're capable. And so you are attracted to that. Or perhaps it could be, your mother wasn't there for you all the time, and this person exudes a maternal behavior, so you become attracted to that. It could also be, for instance, I'm trying to come up with examples at the top of my head, so bear with me. So it could also be that you come from a very poor family. Your family couldn't provide for you, money wise. You couldn't have said a lot of the things that you wanted. So now you see someone who looks very wealthy. They have a flashy car. They dress very well. You become attracted to that because you feel that this person can take care of you and provide for you and give you the money to spend to buy all sorts of things. Now, that type of attraction is, I call it image representation type of attraction. Now, the next type of attraction is intellectually based, and I seem to fall into that, where I'm attracted to people, not necessarily physically, even though I could be attracted to someone physically, but that is not what keeps me there. What keeps me there is intellect. So intellectual base is when you are speaking to someone and you're flowing intellectually, or they are very intelligent and you admire their intelligence or their wealth of knowledge on a particular subject. That sort of attraction is called intellectual based attraction. Another sort of attraction is emotional attraction. Now, this is when you like that person for who they are, their characters, their traits. They are kind, they are soft-spoken, they love children. They go out of their way to help people. They're always smiling. They exude positive vibration. So you start having emotional connection with them based on that. That's an emotional attraction. Then you have a spiritual attraction. Now, when I say spiritual attraction, I'm not talking about voodoo, weird kind of love kind of thing. I'm talking about a meeting of the minds, a meeting of the soul, which is different from a meeting of the mind is different from a meeting of the soul. So what you're telling yourself in your mind, and the information, the perception your mind is getting, or you're getting from the person, the energy you're getting from the person is what you become attracted to that. That's the spiritual kind of attraction where you have a meeting of the mind. Then you have another attraction where you just don't know why you like this person. You just like the person. And that is where we're talking about a meeting of the souls, where you feel like they're your soulmate, where you're talking to this person and you feel like you've known them forever. That's another spiritual attraction, and that's the meeting of the souls. That's the authentic you, your higher self, which is attracted to that person's soul, their higher self. Now, when I'm talking about this attraction, I've mentioned all of these things. None of this stops you from being black. It doesn't stop you from being white. It doesn't stop you from being Asian or dark skin, light skin, brown skin, or whatever color skin that you might have. It does not change that. So if you're black and you're attracted to someone based on any of these, I've mentioned the basis of people get attracted to someone, it doesn't stop you from being black. You no longer, you don't suddenly change to another color just because you are attracted to someone based on any of these examples that I've given before. Now, but on saying that, your attraction, who you're attracted to, can be influenced by your personality. It can be influenced by your traits. It can be influenced by your paradigms. Now, paradigms are mental programming that we all have, and it resides in our subconscious mind. Those paradigms are programming that's been put into us from when we are children. And a lot of times we grow up thinking that they are our own ideas or what we want, but it's not. It is some information that we've heard or seen when we're growing up and is now been buried into our memories and is controlling who we become attracted to or who we end up with. Also, attraction can be influenced by repressed fantasy. So you have a particular sort of life. It's not that great. You're watching television all the time. You like watching or reading romantic novels, and you form this fantasy in your head. And so when you meet someone, you impose in that fantasy. You assume that they are that sort of person that you have in your image. And a lot of time, those sort of relationships don't work because that person ends up not meeting this image you have in your mind of them, and there becomes a problem. So now I'm going to talk about preferences. Now, your preference is influenced by, before I say what is influenced by, first of all, what is a preference? It is having a greater liking for something or someone over another. Okay. Now, this can be influenced. Your attraction is not influenced by this. It's your preference that's influenced by this. It's influenced by your childhood environment. So things that you've heard other people say or seen buried in the back of your mind and now controls who you prefer that you want to date. Another factor that influences your preference could be misconceptions. So things that you keep hearing people say, oh, these people are like this, these ones are like that, and you've never seen it, but you've heard it so many times that it's now become something that is in your subconscious mind and controls what you're doing without you being aware of it. Now, know that your subconscious mind accepts information. It does not question anything. It just accepts it. Your conscious mind has the ability to question the information and decide, oh, it doesn't make sense, and so on. But when you're hearing something repeatedly and you're in an environment or around people who constantly push an agenda or spread information that are false and you're constantly listening to it, it becomes buried in your subconscious mind. And you keep thinking, oh, I'm not like that. But still, you're acting a particular way. It is your subconscious mind, that image and the information in your subconscious mind that is influencing your preferences. Another thing that influences your preference is race. So it could be race motivated, and you say, "Oh, they're like this. Oh, I don't like people who are this color. I don't like people who look this particular way. I don't like those people who do this and do that and do that." And all that you're saying that they're doing or they look like is race motivated. If you go down to the grassroots, it has something to do with the person's race. So that is another influence that makes someone choose someone. They end up they're attracted to someone, but they would not go with that attraction because of these influences. Another example of something that can influence someone's preference would be friends and family. And we all know the power of your friends and family, where you see a lot of people like there's this TV shows where people who have never met each other get married, and then they have to then meet their families, and you see the apprehension in each couple where they're worried, oh, would my family like them? Would they not like them? And then when the family says something, all of a sudden, whatever they feel for that person flies out the window because they are too busy listening to what the friends are saying. Naturally, in a society, we want to be accepted. And so whatever our friends accept, that's what we go with. Whatever our family accepts, that's what we go with. And we dismiss with our gut feelings and the main, the instinct that we have or intuition, because we are trying so much to people please. Another thing that influences our preference would be career opportunity and moving up the career ladder, where someone feels like I have to date a particular race in order for me to move up career-wise. And most times you're pandering to someone's misconceptions or someone's image and ideas that don't make any kind of sense. And so you leave off what you really like and to go and do something else and date someone else just so they can please someone in order to move up in a career, your career. Another influence could be the need not to be ostracized by your family, friends, and society. So you've always seen where a lot of people, even on TV shows, where a black person is dating a white person and everybody, is up in arms about it and keep saying, oh, why are you doing that? People are going to say this, people are going to do this. And they are listening to that, and then other people outside are going, why can't you date your own race? Why can't you date that person? It means that you don't like white people, or you don't like black people, or which leads us back to the question: can you be black and proud while dating outside your race? Does that mean that you're not black enough? Does that mean that you're not pro-black? Now, these are, again, other people's ideas that we're letting control what truly feels good in our life. And when I'm saying what feels good, I'm talking about what you're attracted to or who you're attracted to. Could be the love that you have for someone, and you let an image that someone else have and is projecting on you direct you to a different direction, where you end up being with someone who you're not attracted to, who doesn't make you happy, who you're not making happy, but you're there together just so that you can, in quote, please other people and not seem like you're not black enough, or you're not white enough, or you're not Asian enough. Okay, so another factor that influences our preference is the information in the media. So you have, unfortunately, recently, most of the news we have these days is always about something bad, something negative. It's constantly pushed at you, negative. And some of those negative things has to do with race, with relationships and race, and into race relationships and children who are born out of them. So you're constantly listening to this. There are family listening to it. Your friends are listening to it. So you start dating outside your race. The next thing they start telling you is, did you not hear the news? Did you not hear about the person that got beat up? Did you not hear a person that got killed? Did you not hear about this? And you shouldn't date this person because I like them, but you should not date them. You shouldn't marry them because, the whole world are going to say this and this and that. Does it really matter what the world says? Why can't you, being in the family, be there for them, be that one person who is an anchor for them, that is a cheerleader for them? Why do you have to join the rest of the world who have misguided ideas, and now start tormenting the person? So the person is tormented inside, and the person is tormented outside. And sometimes the image that you're projecting, thinking that they're going to have, they end up not even having that, but they're only getting it from you. So we should be very mindful what we're saying to people, and be mindful what we allow media to, how much we allow media to influence what we do in our own lives. So another factor that influences our preference is our culture, or not understanding the other person's culture. So you end up saying, oh, I'm attracted to them, but I can't date them because, I don't understand their culture. Oh, I've heard this about their culture. I can't date them because I'm attracted to them, but I can't date them because my culture does not allow me to date people outside or that do this and do that. So now we've got that all out of the way. So we've got attraction out of the way, and what influences our attractions, and why we most times what affects whether we go after what we're attracted or not, or why we start hiding, how we feel about someone, and hiding relationships. Now let's go back to the question: does dating outside your race mean that you are not black enough? I've heard this saying, and I think this saying is going to apply to this in some way, where you say you can take someone out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of them. You can date someone as a black person, as an Asian person, as a white person, it does not make you any less white, any less Asian, any less black. I'll use families, where, for instance, my my mom and my dad met here. They got married here. They've lived in this country for a long time, and sometimes they just say certain things that make me wonder: have you ever been outside the country, outside Nigeria? Because they are who they are. Who they are dating, who they spend time with, does not change that. The only thing that changes what that person believes in is that person. And that's because we all have choices. We can choose to become ashamed of who we are and stop pushing a different agenda. But when we're ashamed of something, it has nothing to do with that person we're dating. It's not the person that's changed you. It is you who's made the choice to change yourself because of this image you have in your head, because of this fear you have, because of this low self-esteem and self-image that you have, the hold of yourself. But if you don't have any of those paradigms and fears and low confidence and so on, you can be who you are and still date whomever you want to date, and that would not change anything in you. You will still be who you are. I see people who like to smoke and they date someone who doesn't like smoking, and they keep saying, oh, I'm going to change. I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to stop. That person is never going to stop smoking unless they choose to stop smoking. And that's where you have deceptions where you hide from your partner just so you can smoke. You lick all sorts of sweets and stuff and puff stuff in your mouth in order to change your breath so the person doesn't smell the cigarette. But dating that person has not stopped you from smoking. You still continue smoking. The only thing that will stop you from smoking is you making the decision to say, I want to stop smoking. Another one would be somebody who likes to eat meat, dating someone who doesn't like to eat meat. And then you start telling the person, oh, I'm going to change. That person is not going to be able to change you. The only person that can change you is you. Again, it's about choices. So the same thing is, if you're white, dating outside your race, if you're Asian, dating outside your race, if you're black, dating outside your race, the person you're dating is not going to change you. They don't have the power to change you. Only you have the power to change yourself. Whatever anybody says to you, unless inside you really want to change, you're not going to change. You can tell them anything you want to tell them, but you're not going to change it. You might even try to do it to please them. You will still not succeed because it is not a choice that you have made inside yourself that you want to do. So, question is, can you be black and proud and still date outside your race? The answer is yes. Does dating outside your race make you less of the race that you come from, or not enough of the race you come from? The answer is no, it doesn't. Does dating someone that is not black make you not pro-black? No, it doesn't. Does dating someone that is not white make you not pro-white? No. Does dating someone that is not Asian make you not pro-Asian? No, it doesn't. What you look like would always be what you look like. And what you believe would always be what you believe until you make the conscious effort and decision that you're going to change your belief. What you stand for would always be what you stand for. No matter what you say to someone, what you stand for would always be what you stand for until you, again, make a conscious decision in order to change that. So please, let's not keep projecting all these silly ideas that we have, unfounded ideas that we have. I know some people are going to take issue with me saying it's silly, but from my perspective, it is quite silly to push our own misunderstanding, our own misconception, our less founded informed ideas or not well-formed ideas, or because something happened to someone, we feel it's going to happen to another person. We need to be very careful when we're doing that and pushing it on other people, because life is difficult enough without other people trying to get in and make life even more miserable for that person. So let's be more supportive. Let's be more encouraging, because the only way the world changes is when we change ourselves. I've listened to Michael Jackson singing from when I was singing, I'm talking to the man in the mirror. And it never made sense to me, but I loved the song and I just kept singing it. I'm talking to the man in the mirror. But when I grew older and I started going through my personal development growth, I started listening to that song from a different perspective. The man in the mirror is me. I'm asking him to change his ways. I'm asking myself to change the ways. I cannot expect the world to change when I'm not willing to change. I am part of the world, and what makes the world what the world is. So if I want change, I have to start with me. So let's start with each other, with ourselves, and start making changes, the changes that we want to see in the world. Let's start from our own corner of the world and start making changes and shaking the world, and see if the vibrations it's not going to reach the other end of the world. So thank you for listening to me. And please, if you don't agree with what I said, please, I'd like you to leave a statement or comment and just tell me what you think. I'm open to listening to other people's perception or perspective and why they feel that way. So when you leave us a statement, I want you to tell me why, the reasoning behind it. Because the only way we can change the world is open conversations. Thank you very much, and take care of yourself. Please share this and comment. Until next time, goodbye.